WWE is now heavily promoting Roman Reigns for this Friday night's SmackDown 12/15/23. We found out about these dates 2 weeks ago. BC broke that to you guys. I was recording a separate upload, found out about the dates that WWE had added for Roman, and I broke that to you guys while I was recording. So we knew about these dates, a couple in December and one in January. They're probably going to add another date before the Rumble for Roman, because that's not a lot of time to include Roman into a big title situation, and he has to have a title match at the Royal Rumble. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He already missed the Survivor Series. The last time Roman was in that ring defending that championship, or just in the ring in general having a match, was 40 days ago. 40 days ago, it was Crown Jewel. It was a Saturday afternoon, November 4th, nearly a full month and a half ago. He was defeating LA Knight. And that was it. He's had 2 appearances since then. Other than that, he has nothing to do with WWE. The only problem with that is he's the current main Universal Champion. Other than that, he's not really associated with WWE. So they're bringing him back this Friday night, and that's not a lot of time to start something for the Royal Rumble, a big title match, but he has to have one. Back in the day, the WWF, if you didn't defend your title within 30 days, the President Jack Tunney was his name. He would strip you of the title. Of course, times have changed. There's just no way, guys. Survivor Series, no title defense, no Roman Reigns at all. That's one of the big 4 events: Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. Your champion didn't even show up to Survivor Series. There's no way he cannot have a title match at Rumble. Rumble, the actual match itself, isn't going to have Roman because he's one of the 2 main prizes. Sethington in his gold and Roman in his gold. So they can't be in the match. It's got to be a title match. Roman has to put that title up. He's got to be competing, and that leaves the question: against who? It's got to be Randy Orton. Something major has to happen now. The Rumble right now has a little bit of buzz. Are they really going to give this to Cody? Are we going to do Cody Roman Part 2? And if so, is he going to win it via the Elimination Chamber in February, or are they giving Cody the Rumble? With CM Punk back, there's a wrinkle in the plans. Punk is now vowing that he is going to finish his story. He is going to win the Royal Rumble. And you got to believe then he will take on Sethington. Cody would win the Elimination Chamber, and then he would go to Roman Reigns. The point is, everything now is starting to kick in the high gear. There's some excitement for the Rumble, the actual Rumble match itself, but there's still those voids that need to be filled, right? Those holes that need to be filled. And one of the main ones is that damn championship that is somehow becoming irrelevant. It is becoming non-existent. And this is why we say, like a broken record, it was a mistake when Cody didn't win that championship at WrestleMania. It's not even a debate anymore. It's not even, there's still people that try to argue it. It's this should have never gotten to this point. So where now WWE is actually considering, well, we made it this far. What if he comes out of Mania still champ and he goes for Hulk Hogan's record, 1474? We never should have even been talking about this. And Cody laying down next to that damn rubber chicken. But here we are, debating, wondering, pleading that Roman has a match at Royal Rumble. That is sad when we all have to wonder if the guy who has not had a match in 40 days that holds the main championship, he hasn't had a match in 40 days, we have to even wonder if he's going to have a match at the Royal Rumble, the 3rd biggest event of the calendar year. That's sad. But here we are. It's got to be Randy Orton. BC's going Randy Orton because it's got to be big, and you know Randy Orton is not going to be taking on Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Not going to happen. Randy Orton is not going to be taking on Seth Rollins. That's going to be Punk. If it ain't going to be The Rock versus Roman, it's most likely going to be Cody and Roman Part 2. So sell this now. Randy Orton signed exclusively to SmackDown. His main reason? Retribution on the people that took him out, the Bloodline. Well, let's go. Let's do this now. He's got limited appearances, 3 dates that we know of. They might add one more appearance before the Royal Rumble. That's still not a lot of time. There won't be a lot of physicality. You have to sell this story. I say you start it tomorrow night. Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, title on the line, Royal Rumble, book it, Vince, book it, Hunter. Whoever's got any say in that company, book it. And there's ways to go about this when it's all said and done that Randy Orton completely saves face. There's no way Orton can walk out with that title, just so you know. No way. Wouldn't it be something if instead of LA Knight making it a triple threat, if they want Roman to keep the title coming out of Mania, but you don't want Cody to lose? I told you guys they could insert LA Knight if they don't want LA Knight defeating Logan Paul for the US title. They could insert LA Knight and Knight takes the pin. Cody saves face, Roman keeps the title, and they don't care about LA Knight anyway. Wouldn't it be something if they still have LA Knight go for Logan Paul's US title, but they insert Randy Orton and they make Randy Orton the bitch in the match? The odd man out, the middleman. The one to take the mega L. I just wouldn't put it past this company to do a triple threat to get Roman out of that event with the title, but help make Cody not look as bad. And yes, I do believe they would sacrifice Randy Orton. Other than that scenario, Orton's not going against Roman at Mania. It's not happening. He can put himself in the Rumble. He's not going to win it. So at the Royal Rumble, you have a mega match. Roman needs this. The fans have to see Roman Reigns in a big title match. Has to happen. And even Crown Jewel was only with 2 weeks of notice before we found out LA Knight was for some reason being skyrocketed to a match we knew he was never going to win. And LA Knight has never been the same. I told you guys that was going to happen. That's what happens when you're fed to somebody. That's what happens, and I'm not even blaming Roman for that, by the way. This is what happens. Paul Levesque McMahon, the powers that be in WWE, for allowing that to happen. And again, it's because we already know they don't really care about LA Knight. If they can make a few bucks off of him, they're going to do it now. But it took them 9 months just to give him a chance. The cheers for LA Knight were mega back in February coming out of the Royal Rumble 2023 matchup, Mountain Dew Pitch Black with Bray Wyatt. You guys remember? LA Knight was a megastar after that. Bray Wyatt helped put him on the map to the WWE audience. At WrestleMania, he was left off the card. What was one of the loudest chants of the weekend? You guys remember who it was? It was LA Knight. Remember SmackDown, the big battle royal before WrestleMania? LA Knight, the biggest chant in that arena. But they kept him off. They kept him off every pay-per-view afterwards, month after month. H kept saying, well, in time. We got play. Really? Creed Brothers, you just literally pluck them from NXT and you're giving them the rocket straight through the stratosphere. That didn't take a lot of time. You pluck individuals all the time and you put a little bit of a rocket on them and you just go, hey, good luck. Give them a kick in the ass. Let's see what you can do. You can do that to LA Knight for over 8 months? They don't care about LA Knight. It's the old adage, oh, he's over 40 years old. He's going to break down at any moment. We're looking for the youth. And Levesque McMahon follows in line with that. So LA Knight there he is. He's getting thrusted into this match on 2 weeks' notice. He gets fed to Rome. He has not been the same since. I can't tell you anything memorable that LA Knight has done since Crown Jewel 40 nights ago. 40 days ago. I can't tell you anything memorable. Last week, I believe he tagged with the Randy Orton. And I think I remember that because it was just 6 days ago. I can't tell you anything else. I guess I'm guessing he was in a bunch of stuff with Solo and Jimmy. Nothing. I can't tell you anything memorable. So he's either going to take on Logan Paul and get that dumb championship that Austin Theory held 4 times within the last year. So that's a real prestigious title. You got Logan Paul taking showers with the thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what LA Knight wants to hold on to. Or he's going to be in the main event. Hey, that's the play, right? He was already in the main event of Crown Jewel, but we knew what was that really going to do for LA Knight? So he could be in the main event of Mania, and he could come out the ultimate loser. So that's LA Knight's path through this, and then it's Randy Orton. Randy Orton would be the only other guy. You're not going to do LA Knight and Roman Part 2 for the Rumble, would you? You would have a little bit more time to build it, but then LA Knight is just taking a second loss. You got to be careful with LA Knight's booking here. If you're going to do that, whoa, hold up. If you're going to save Roman and Randy, what are you saving it for, first of all? I mean, at that point, you're definitely saying that Roman is going for Hulk Hogan's record. And Randy's not going to be the one to take it, right? You pass up a Punk opportunity, you pass up a Cody opportunity, a Sami Zayn opportunity, Drew McIntyre in the homeland. You pass up all of that, and Randy Orton somehow wins the title around SummerSlam. But no, to get Hulk Hogan's record, wouldn't he have to go past SummerSlam by a couple of weeks? I have to revisit the timeline. I say right now, you strike while the iron is hot. You come up with a real creative... I know you're going to put WWE to work here. You come up with a creative finish that finds a way for Roman to walk off with his title, and Randy Orton saves face, and everybody gets their money's worth. Everybody is sports entertained. In the Royal Rumble, that is just one spoke on the wheel that makes the Royal Rumble a special event for all of us. Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, title on the line. Start booking Roman Reigns like he's a part of World Wrestling Entertainment. Start booking Roman Reigns like he's got an effing championship. It's starting to become ridiculous, man, and I've been an advocate. For those that are newer to the channel, I'm an advocate for champions not showing up all the time. I remember Hulk Hogan didn't wrestle all the time, didn't even show up all the time. A lot of weeks he was just coming out for a 4-minute interview with Mean Gene Okerlund. Let me tell you something, brother. It makes them special. I get it. They saw Brock Lesnar be a special attraction by just coming in once or twice a month, one match every couple, 2-3 months. I get it. And Roman wanted to do that. Roman wanted to be that. I get it. But there comes a time where you have to read the room. And that room was lightning white hot at WrestleMania 39. Ready for Cody to just take that title, knowing that he was about to go through the international tour, by the way. WWE knew that Brock was going to turn on Cody the next night because the story would say, I can't go against Roman because that was a stipulation the last time I took on Roman. So now that Cody's the champ, I'm going to take him out. That was the story that WWE had until the last minute audible that Paul Levesque McMahon admitted he made. When he said, sometimes we get the call right, sometimes we get it wrong. That's what we go back to, right? That's what it all stems back to that point when they should have read the room, didn't, and here we are all of these months later. All of these months later, and most fans now are like, all right, nothing this dude has done would warrant him to have a title or need a title on him. Nothing that Roman has done, guys. And I'm an advocate, again, for title holders not showing up all the time. But this dude's been away for so long that you better give us solid reasons why he had a title the entire time. There's none. When he showed up, he was just going against Jason Uso, and it was a family implosion storyline. It was more about the red tribal lay and who's the real leader of the family. The title was an afterthought. That was a cherry on top. Aside from that, he was in tag team matches with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, or against Sami and KO, with Solo. Barely defended his title since after Mania, a couple of times, maybe. One of them, again, 40 nights ago against LA Knight. At what point do you say, hold on, man, this isn't good? They had to create a whole nother title To this day, majority of fans are still not on board with this title, by the way. Maybe CM Punk and Rollins' story and feud can ignite that passion and get us to look at that title as something prestigious. That's what we're hoping for, right? If Punk really makes it a point to sell the fact that he needs that title, maybe we can look at it as such. But until we can, as the majority of the audience look at that title as such, it's Roman's title. But 40 days ago, it's not realistic anymore. It's not believable. Back in the day, it was believable because Jack Tunney would say you did not defend your title in 30 days. You're stripped. Even as a kid, I knew there was some semblance of authority. There was an inkling of believability backing what the company was doing. That's my rant on the Roman thing. I'm still behind the dude because this is the best Roman we could possibly be getting. 5 years of them forcing Roman down everybody's throat did not work. Multiple WrestleMania main events, and the dude was booed out of the arena as the top face. Go figure. It didn't work. And for the 5 years plus that I've had this channel, I've been saying, or for the years that he was being forced anyway, they gotta turn him heel. It's not just for the company and the fans. Roman Reigns is gonna benefit more than anybody else. And he finally did it. They did it. And I was right all along. We were right from the beginning, weren't we? Because the company benefited, the fans benefited, it was the best version of Roman, and Roman has the utmost confidence than he's ever had in his entire career as a heel. It benefited Roman more than anybody. The time that he steps away for weeks at a time, hey, at first it was good. And you could keep doing that as you go along. But these gaps are becoming even larger. The amount of time he's been away is getting more and more substantial. The problem with that is more and more of your audience is turning away, and that's a big deciding factor as to why. When that starts to happen, you have to take a nice long look in the mirror and say, maybe it's the decisions we are making with Roman. And maybe the best idea isn't to go through the summer with him as champ so that he can take Hogan's record and go for Bruno Sammartino. Because Paul Levesque McMahon loves Roman Reigns. And the only person he loves more than that, aside from Charlie Flair, is Bruno Sammartino. He would love to have Roman chasing Bruno. But not with the schedule that Roman has now. That's not playering. He worked out in a tremendous deal where he gets a ton of money and he gets to work a few times a year. Good for that. I'm not even player hating. Anybody would jump on a deal like that. The problem is he's holding the gold, the top prize. And fans more and more that were backing the Roman heel turn, that were throwing up the ones when Bloodline would come down and Roman at the helm. A lot of those fans are going, all right, this ain't working. We see him. He's gone for a few weeks. He wrestles. He's gone for a few months. He comes back every couple, 3-4 weeks. It's a return, right? Roman returns. Wait a month. Roman's returning to SmackDown. Wait 2 months. Roman's returning. Special appearance on Raw. It's like a holiday when Roman Reigns is about to defend the championship. You want to throw streamers, confetti, fireworks. Well, that's the thing, BC. See? It's special. You want to throw a party. It's special. See, BC? When he defends, it's a special occasion. That's not good. Why can't you defend it a little bit more often and we can still throw you your flowers? We'll put some pyro on. We'll throw some confetti, some streamers. We can do it more often. If you show up and the storylines are that good and your performance, your character is top notch, you'll have the audience in the palm of your hand. You don't got to get your flowers so very few times a year. You can get them even more if you show up more. It could be more special if you make it more special. That is my rant on Roman Reigns' return. It just seems like every single time you turn around, we're wondering, is Roman even a part of WWE? Is he still around? Oh yeah, he's got the title. And then you hear, oh, it's a return. Roman's returning. It's sad when your main title holder is always talked about as returning. He should have never left. He's the champion. Interesting. Also, guys, SmackDown preview. I'll finish it off for you. The two big matches they're promoting: Austin Theory versus Kevin Owens. It's a funny the way they're marketing and promoting this match. They said Kevin Owens, parentheses, with a broken hand against Austin Theory. So they really want you, the audience, to know that he has a broken hand. So in case he loses, he's got one arm, one hand. Kevin Owens with a broken hand versus Austin Theory. And there's going to be a U.S. title tournament matchup with Grayson Waller and Carmelo Hayes from NXT. Melo and Grayson Waller. I'm not a big fan of tournaments. These are just filler matches to BC. You're not really showing me who the best in the world is. Nobody really earned the title because they went through this tournament. No, somebody had a Posty pad. Somebody found a Sharpie pen. And in 5 minutes, they wrote 4 weeks of television. That is lazy booking. And there's too many tournaments in pro wrestling today. And you know why? Because everyone just wants to be lazy. Nobody wants to do the work creatively. So that's SmackDown. Real quick, Monday Night Raw's rating is in from Monday night. Monday Night Raw scored a 1.47. That is miserably bad. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm so into this Seth Rollins CM Punk thing. I really wanted them to score big. The good news is that segment did. Wait till you hear what they pulled. As a show, though, that's miserably bad. Now, they were going against two football games. Monday Night Football, my Packers. It was a big game. Green Bay Packers fighting for their playoff lives against the New York Football Giants, which is just one of the biggest markets for NFL football in the entire country. Packers, Giants. On top of that, you had the Dolphins playing, which is one of the funnest teams in the NFL they're deemed this year. So they were in a close contest as well. Two Monday Night Football games. I never use that as an excuse, but that absolutely will help dent the number if your show isn't on its A game. And if you take away Sethington and CM Punk's face-to-face promo, this show was nothing that's going to be memorable. Cody Rhodes and Shinsuke, I'll put that to the side. That was actually done correctly. And it allows BC to want even more from Cody and Shinsuke. Their story is going really well without a pay-per-view culminating match. So they're doing real well with Cody Rhodes and Shinsuke. So you take those couple of moments, the show was pretty subpar. And that's been the problem with Paul Levesque's Monday Night Raw, is you get a couple of things that you're intrigued with, which is the good news. The rest of the show is confusing and just seems like a lot of filler. Whereas Vince and Kennedy McMahon would have filler, it would be stupid things, right? A lot of stupidity. With Paul Levesque McMahon, it's just filler for the sake of filler. And overshadowing stupidity is confusion. A lot of face versus face matches, heel versus heel matches. You don't know why this person is with that person, which is going to lead to a match with this person. None of it makes sense. So it kind of overshadows stupidity. So it's just a different type of bad is what I'm saying, right? Vince McMahon, Vincent Kennedy, he had his own version of bad for Monday Night Raw and why the ratings were so bad. And then Paul Levesque McMahon has his own version of just bad, or I'll be generous, his own version of just not good. And that's why for 2 months, the average for Monday Night Raw is a 1-4. That's the worst the numbers have been in Monday Night Raw history. A 1-4 under Paul Levesque McMahon's guidance the past 2 months. The one time they were at over a 1-8, it was post-Survivor Series CM Punk Randy Orton return. That was just 2 weeks ago. A couple weeks ago. And so what I said in my review video I told you guys just a couple of uploads ago when I was doing the review of Raw. I said, I expect a 1-6 because the football, a lot of people are saying, oh man, Rollins and Punk, and they stack the show up a little bit because of the 2 Monday Night Football games. They're going to get over 2 million. You guys don't follow the numbers. There's no way they're going to get 2 million just because they got 1-8 post Survivor Series. It's not going to happen. Because after Survivor Series, a week after the Survivor Series post Raw, they were right back to 1-5. So I don't know where you're getting 500,000 viewers against 2 Monday Night Football games. Not going to happen. But I said a 1-6 is doable. There's no reason, if they're putting their best foot forward, a 1-6 is not salvageable. I wouldn't be shocked, I said, if they pulled a 1-7. Looking back at it, I would be surprised. Maybe not shocked, but I would be surprised. But a 1-6, I had it. I said if they score a 1-5, that's just miserably unacceptable. If they score a 1-5, they have to put their heads down in Stamford, Connecticut. That's not good. I don't care if there's 10 Monday Night Football games. I don't care if the whole league is playing on Monday night. Man, you cannot score a 1-5. You can't do it. Not with Punk and Rollins. And there's only so much that they can hold on their back, just those 2 dudes. The rest of the show has to carry its own weight. They didn't just pull a 1-5, which is miserably bad and would put your head down in Stamford, Connecticut. They scored a 1-4. A 1-4. If 1-5 is miserably bad and you got to put your head down in Stamford, a 1-4 just makes you just missile right out of Stamford, Connecticut's windows, right? Just boom, cannonball, dive bomb into the nearest brick wall. That'll just make you go, but how a 1-4 again? They can't get out of the 1-4s. Paul Levesque McMahon's Raw cannot get out of the 1-4s. They got the 1-8 post Survivor Series, and then it dipped right back to 1-5. And now that everything is settled, it's right back to where it's been the last couple months, 1-4. All of that Survivor Series hype and all of those casual fans that came back to get you out of 1-4. And you're right back to 1-4. Now, if you're Punk and Rollins, for those saying, well, wow, man, Punk and Rollins, see, I guess it's not as big as people think it is. Check this out. 1.88 rating for that segment. Over 400,000 viewers found out that Rollins came out and they flipped over or they jumped to it. They ran to a TV. 400,000 casual or relapsed fans jumped onto their TVs and they tuned in to Monday Night Raw. One storyline, 2 wrestlers. Sethington Rollins CM Punk brought over 400,000 viewers to that segment. It was the highest rated segment of the night. It was the biggest quarter-to-quarter jump since 2022. Over a full year it's been since a segment has had a quarter-to-quarter jump the way that Sethington and Punk brought in that number. 1.88. Could you imagine if the rest of the show carried its own weight? We would be talking about a 1-8, maybe a 1-9 Monday Night Raw, because that segment was right up against key moments in both Monday Night Football games. You know what happened? Fans said, sorry, Packers, Giants. Sorry, Dolphins. I'm going to Punk and Rollins. Why? Because that's more interesting. And they left it on that for the entire segment. That's what happened in the Attitude Era. Sorry, Monday Night Football. I'd love to watch you, but Austin's coming out. The NWO's coming out. Here comes Taker. Here comes H. Here comes Angle. Here comes Stinger. That's what we did. That's why the Attitude Era had such high numbers. It's because it was literally must-see TV. People felt they had to see Seth and Punk face-to-face. It's massive. Absolutely massive to get a 188 when the show pulled a 147. That means Punk and Seth put the ratings, put the show on their back, while the rest of the show failed them. 188. A .62, by the way, in the demo. One of the highest recorded in recent years. .62 for an overall seg to seg. 0.62 in the 18 to 49 demo. Major numbers by Seth and Punk. And that's the beginning. People didn't know that Sethington was coming. It was just Punk was advertised. So, okay, you say some of those viewers are going to jump on because, hey, Punk drew for Raw. Right? I always said, right? You're going to find out if Punk is still a draw today. In the EW, he just wasn't. And it's the booking of him. It never clicked. He wasn't the big draw they were hoping. And a lot of that was the booking. You put him in the right predicaments, in the right spot, the right position, at the right time. He can draw. He showed you that on Monday. So a lot of that was people tuning in just to see what Punk had to say, and then they found out Sethington comes out, and then the floodgates were open. Here comes another 250, 300,000 fans. It was wild. That was an unadvertised face-to-face. 400,000 viewers. But the show overall, Paul Levesque McMahon's Raw goes right back to a 1-4-7. Paul Levesque McMahon, his era is bringing in the lowest ratings of Raw all time. That's a problem. Because I know a lot of people, maybe a lot of you guys, they put Triple H on a pedestal because he does a couple of things right. And trust me, we notice, we thank you for that. But there's so much that is being done wrong. There is so much that he is confusing the audience to a point where they're walking away. You can't do that. We're still seeing the same redundancy, the same nonsense that you would see with Vincent Kennedy, just with a twist more of confusion. Little things that aren't so little, like taking DIY and making your audience not care about them. Let's throw them with the mystery guy because it's Cleveland, Miz, and we'll have them take on Imperium like we haven't seen that for 4 straight months. Oh wait, yes we did. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell just losing in 2 minutes to Chance and Carter. What's that doing for Chance and Carter, a 2-minute victory over these two? And what is that really doing for Candice and Indy to keep eating L's the way and at the rate that they keep eating L's? R-Truth in his comedy bit. He wants to join Judgment Day, and then he gets beat up by Judgment Day, and then the Creed brothers, who got the personality of a lemon, great wrestlers as far as sequences and moves, and they're strong. Trust me, I like the Creed brothers. But until they learn how to act in these segments naturally, until they get a personality to back their talent, why are we seeing the Creed brothers so much on these shows, winning matches? Then they're saving R-Truth. Later in the night, they're saving Cody Rhodes. Creed brothers are helping R-Truth because the Judgment Day beat up R-Truth. The more things change, the more they stay the same sometimes. Levesque McMahon always worked well when he had a few things to focus on, right? His best days were in NXT Black and Gold when it was 1 hour, one show, 1 hour. It was tucked on the WWE network. No cable people to answer to. There was no real stress. And he had all the masterminds, right? First of all, Dusty and them gave him NXT. It was on the dime of Vincent Kennedy McMahon. And then he had all these people like William Regal and so many others doing the day-to-day operations. He flies in on the WWE jet, plays Papa H, and he got all the credit for Black and Gold. I get it, right? He was Papa and they were his kids. Cool. But this is a different beast. If you're going to turn around Monday Night Raw, which needs to happen, he needs to assemble a team. He can be the head guy. That's cool. This ain't no bashing H. Trust me. We want Raw to be better. Everything BC has said since H took over. If I was wrong, I would have said I was wrong. The ratings and the numbers back up everything I've ever said. The truth is the truth. And the bottom line is I've been the only one to tell you it. Because the numbers and the facts back up everything I've told you. Everybody else fed you a line of horse shit. H was the savior. H will turn it all around. Not quite works that way, does it? No, that's not how it works. He can be the head guy. And bring in some of your good ideas if you got them. Great. Allow some things to happen that should be happening. Give some people their names back. Cool. But you're still going to have to assemble a team. This is going to be a team effort. Just is. The Attitude Era would have never happened. It never went. WWE probably wouldn't even be in business if it wasn't people, and you're going to hate me saying this name, Because you're going to hate this dude. You don't like this dude, but Vince Russo. Without people like Vince Russo, Vince McMahon, he'll tell you they were almost under. WCW was beating them so bad, they were almost going out of business. And Vince Russo was able to do all of this, what he calls crash TV. And then they allowed Shawn Michaels to have these zany ideas. Vince Russo said Levesque McMahon never went up to him with ideas. It was always Shawn. You never even heard from Levesque McMahon, so that gives you a little bit more insight. But you need people around you to help you out if you can't do it yourself. Levesque McMahon can't do a 3-hour Monday Night Raw by himself. He has trouble doing the second hour. He admitted he's totally lost with the third hour, but from what we've seen, he can't even do the second hour. Monday Night Raw is still one or two big things that we say, hey, that was good, and the rest of the show is nothing but redundancy, filler, and exhausting television. Just in a different way. And then you have to ask this dude to do 2 more hours on Friday nights. Good luck with that. We all want this to succeed. We all want this to do better. The way I've been speaking, you guys know I was hoping Raw was going to pull a better rating. I had them bare minimum at a 1.6. At least you're out of the 1.4, 1.5s. I said bare minimum 1.6. I didn't think they'd pull a 1.4. I'm rooting for them for success. When they succeed, we all succeed. This channel succeeds. All of us have a lot more fun. 1.47 is unacceptable. And you're asking a lot for Sethington and CM Punk to sell, for their feud to sell Monday Night Raw going forward. That is not fair to them. Get more storylines we care about. It's the only thing I can tell you. Cody and Shinsuke was looking to be good. I told you guys, if you build this over a couple months, this is actually getting good. The problem is, just as it was getting good, they had them face each other on Monday night. It wasn't to a point where most fans felt they needed to see that match yet. Numbers showed you that. That's what I mean. Everything BC tells you, man, if I'm just wrong, if I'm just speaking to hear myself talk and I'm wrong, I'll take the L. But everything I'm saying factually ends up correct, right? The numbers come out, the ratings come out, the statistics, the metrics, and everything BC said lines up with the facts. I wouldn't bullshit you guys, man. Trust me, I would love to talk nothing but positive about these shows, about everything that's happening, but we can't do that because we have to be honest. That's the only way we're going to create the real change that's really going to make these shows and this product and that company much better. The honesty part. It sucks to have to talk about a 147, man. But I do look at the glimmer of hope. I do look at the silver lining, the light at the end of the tunnel. At 188, man, that shows you that CM Punk and Sethington Rollins, man, people are into it. NXT's rating went up 52,000 viewers, I believe. Last week, I think it was a 626,000. And this week, what's 52 on that? 36, 46, 56, 66, 76. So 678, I want to say, this week. I remember it's 52, and I remember 626 last week. So 626,000 viewers last week for NXT. This week, 678. Yes, 52,000 viewer increase. So I know a lot of you guys are like 678, 626 last week. These are not good numbers, BC. I agree. We know this. USA Network knows this. CW knows this. But anytime you're going up, listen, you can just take a step back and go, all right, it's still the right trajectory, right? You're going that way, not this way. I don't care if it's 10,000, 5,000. You gained viewers, man. Yes, not a good number. I get it. But you got 52,000 more viewers from last week. Take it and keep. That's what I always tell you guys, right? Keep growing, man. That's just one spoke on the wheel of many to come. Keep adding those spokes. Keep adding. If you build it, they will come. Keep grinding out. Keep putting your best foot forward. Keep doing your most creative storylines and putting them to the forefront. And you'll eventually get to where you want to be. when they were including all the main roster talent, they were screwing around with 8 and even 900,000 viewers. A lot of them have been cut. A lot of them not. You're still seeing Dragon Lee. I mean, their North American title went from one WWE main roster star, Dominic Mysterio, to another, Dragon Lee. Baron Corbin is still on that show. So you still have main roster talent non-stop showing up to that show. It's, but I think fans are just kind of like, all right, we've seen it, been there, done that. So now NXT is just going to have to rest on that character development and those storylines. Well, that's what they're best at when they're pushed up against the wall. Now they just got to make sure they push back. 52,000 more for NXT. What else do I got for you guys, man? Speaking of Punk, man, Punk was at the PC, the Performance Center, over the last couple of days. Now, a lot of people are thinking it's just because Punk is trying to kind of redefine his reputation, right? Fine-tune his reputation that has been kind of tainted. Well, that might be a little bit of it, right? Because we're hearing he's giving a lot of speeches and a lot of the NXT talent is excited to see him and snapping photos. But don't get it twisted, guys. He's down there to shake off ring rust. I told you guys that December 30th was his first announced match back. He's going to be taking on Dominic Mysterio at a house show December 30th. Now, since we talked about that, more news broke. CM Punk is now being added and advertised for New York City Madison Square Garden. That's going to be the day after Christmas. That is the 26th of December. So in just less than 2 weeks. Could be the 27th, by the way, which is a Wednesday, because Christmas is on the 25th. But I think it's the 26th. Either way, it's a day or two right after Christmas. CM Punk, Madison Square Garden, New York City. He's going to be taking on Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Dom. So New York going to be treated to CM Punk versus Dom. So matches are being added. So he is shaking that ring rust off now. He's going to be getting into that ring. He's going to be going over things of how they're going to go about these live events with Dominic Mysterio. They're probably going to fine-tune some other aspects that he's going to need fine-tuned when he steps into that ring. That's what you do. You go to the Performance Center. Or there is stories where, like Edge, when Edge was coming back, he had WWE send him a ring. No joke. Edge tells the story, Adam Copeland. He said when he was coming back, WWE sent him a ring. And he put it up like in his garage or something. I don't know. He's got a lot of money. He's got a nice garage that can fit a ring. But he was sent the WWE ring, so that's one way to do. Some individuals, they go to like local bingo hall type organizations, little independent wrestling shows, and they kind of, shake off some ring rust there. But most WWE wrestlers, they go to the Performance Center. It's no coincidence that these dates are being added. Punk is going to be wrestling in less than 2 weeks, and here he is at the PC. But I'm sure a lot of that too, he does want to change that reputation and the image that he has. And he wants to be a little bit more friendly because he knows, man, as far as his career goes, there's a lot more days behind him than ahead. So now's the time to kind of stamp a little bit of a different legacy. So it's pretty cool. This is the Punk that we all wanted, right? Not the one that's shitting on the business and the fans and the industry and he's bitter. No, man. That's not the Punk we want to remember when it's all said and done. So I said it when he went to EW, and unfortunately that didn't work out. I say it now that he's with WE. I hope that this lasts, right? And whether he keeps the smile or not, everybody can just conduct good business, make a lot of money, and the fans, the industry, everybody benefits. That's what I got for you guys. Until next time, and there will be that next time. Current status, we are out. BC and the Amplified Unit saying check you. Peace. Go long. Go. Deep ball. Hail Mary. Come on, go.